Hello and welcome to another podcast edition of Taiwan Talk. I'm Keith Manconi. Today, we're bringing you yet another morning show extended interview. As always, we're just bringing the Taiwan Talk format, conversations from and about Taiwan, live on air to the morning show with Terry Engel. So a little bit looser, a little bit more spread out. And just a heads up before we get into this particular one, this was a Skype interview. Our guest is calling in all the way from New York City. So when you hear the audio quality there from his call, that's why. That's why it sounds the way it does. Okay, so we got the tech stuff out of the way. Let's jump right into it. We take you now to the morning show at 10 a.m. on the morning of April 6th, 2016. Here's Terry.
ICRT FM 100. It is 9 minutes past 10 in the morning. It's a Wednesday, and that means it's time for our Wednesday extended interview. Keith, who do we have on this week?
Well, we're really lucky this week because this may be the most famous person that we've ever had on one of these extended interview segments. All of my Taiwanese friends know who this guy is. If he walks down the street in Taiwan, he's going to get recognized. So rather than my doing the introducing here, I'm just going to let him introduce himself. Listen to this.
Hello, 各位观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看老外看台湾，我是郝一博。
So, as you just heard, that is Hao Yibo, also known as Ben Hedges, also known as the Laowai of Laowai in Taiwan, the Laowai's Laowai. He's actually a British guy who hosts a YouTube show known as Laowai Kan Taiwan and Laowai Kan Zhongguo. And what this is short videos that give his takes on all sorts of stuff happening in China and Taiwan, from politics to travel. He even covered the whole monkey gourd thing a couple of months ago, so he really gets into it. And just to give you a little taste of what this show sounds like for folks that haven't heard of it, I prepared a little clip here. This one that we're going to hear is actually Ben visiting New York's Times Square, and he's asking folks there what they know about Taiwan.
我们今天来到纽约的时代广场，因为我一直很好奇老外到底知不知道台湾。我们准备了这个板子，我们去问一下一些人吧。走 ，Do you guys know anything about Taiwan?
No, I probably shouldn't speak anything about that.
Honestly, nothing. Don't actually know much about Taiwan.
It's spelled T-A-I-W-A-N. It's transgender. They have a lot of a lot of prison officers are transgender.
No, that's Thailand.
So that just gives you a little bit of a taste of A, what his show sounds like, and B, what folks in the U.S. know about Taiwan. And as you can hear, it's all in Chinese, his show, or largely in Chinese, which is quite impressive. So we are very happy to have Mr. Ben Hedges here today. Ben, thanks for joining us.
I'm happy to be here, guys.
All right. Good to have you on the show, Ben. I guess we'll just kind of start off talking about a little bit about maybe what it is that you're trying to get across about specifically Taiwan. We obviously we heard there, Ben, that maybe the folks in America don't know everything there is to know about Taiwan. What it is, or what is it that you guys are trying to get across? First of all,
well, that's right. A lot of people you ask, they get it confused with Thailand. Our show, it's more aimed at Taiwanese and Chinese-speaking markets, so principally Taiwan, China, and Hong Kong. But we had a lot of luck with, maybe it's not quite luck, but, we had a lot of success with viral videos going viral online and largely in Taiwan through the PTT internet forum was where our videos started getting shared. And, I studied in Taiwan at Taipei Shifan Daxue, NTNU, the Taiwan National Normal University. Mm-hmm. So I had like a year's experience in Taiwan, and then I'm also a Chinese major from the University of London. So I, was doing a lot of research and paying attention to the news and everything. And I met a producer called Zhu Yanghong, who he's from Taiwan, and we met working at Newtang Dynasty TV in New York, and he was like, hey, wouldn't it be great if we did a show together, So we started coming up with ideas and writing scripts, and so it is a Laowai's view of Taiwan, but we sort of collaborate because he's Taiwanese, so we can sometimes make some more authentic jokes because we have sort of both my insight and his insight, so we can really pinpoint what people are looking for in entertainment, I guess, or in funny internet videos.
So what is it exactly, though, that you're trying to get across to people who are watching this? Is it news and informational? Is it just anecdotal in terms of your experience here in Taiwan? Is it trying to get across the idea of maybe what the international community views Taiwan? What is really the heart of the message?
Well, I guess our show primarily is a news show. We're a sort of humorous news show. I guess you could say kind of like a bridge between East and West in a way, developing, mutual understanding through, between, I guess, Taiwan and, the English-speaking world.
Right. Hey, that's exactly the MO of the program here. We hear you.
Yeah, we got something in common. We also, in the beginning, we were called, our show was just called Laowai Kan Zhongguo, and we were focusing on reporting on China, and then because it got so popular in Taiwan, we started the Laowai Kan Taiwan segment. We didn't want to include Taiwan in the China show because we didn't want to offend like everyone in Taiwan, telling them Taiwan was China. So we called we have like two shows now. One's called Foreigners View of China, and one's called A Foreigner's View of Taiwan. But we know that Taiwanese people, like, they really love sort of making international friends. Any foreigner who's been to Taiwan knows that if you meet Taiwanese people like on the street or on the bus or something, they'll always have a conversation with you and even invite you around to their house for dinner and stuff. And sometimes you're like fighting them off because they're so friendly. But it's great, of course, And so Taiwanese people always like to hear what foreigners think of their country. They'll always ask you loads of questions. So we knew sort of from the start that this kind of show could be really popular in Taiwan.
Right. And why don't you just give us a little quick background as to how you kind of did get into the program, how the program started, logistically speaking.
Sure. So, my colleague, Keith, he's actually called Keith too. His Chinese name is Yang Hong. And he was in New York at the time. And so we started it in New York, and then he went back to Taiwan. And we've been working across the internet, basically for the last 3 years, doing this show together. Obviously, I go to Taiwan a few times a year now. But we did a few episodes, which had some success at the beginning. And then we did an episode commentating on this Chinese soap opera called Zheng Huan Zhan. I guess it's not a soap opera, actually. It's more like a period drama kind of thing in the imperial court or something. No, it's not. Oh, I forget anyway.
They're wearing the funny clothes anyway.
Exactly, yeah. It's a period piece. And we did that, and someone gave me a text in the morning when I woke up because, the time is like the opposite here in New York. And they said, "Oh, you're famous in Taiwan now." And I was like, "What, really?" And they sent me a picture of this newspaper. It's 中国时报, the China Times, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
中国时报. And it's the entertainment section, and it had a picture of me on the front. I was like, how did they get this picture? They'd just taken a still from the video, and they'd reported that some Laowai has done this funny video talking about making fun of this Chinese period drama. And so it basically started from there, and we started seeing our YouTube subscribers and our likes and whatever building up really fast. And we then had a big hit with Lan Rin Wang, which was another like period drama piece that we did a commentary on. So in the early days, a lot of our most popular videos were commentating on sort of like TV shows and movies. And then we later on, once there were some big things happening in the news, like the Hong Kong protests for democracy in Hong Kong, and also the protests in Taiwan, the 占领立法院, the
sunflower movement, yeah.
The occupation and all that.
Yeah, of course, yeah, sunflower movement. I can't remember how to say the name of this.
Switching back between English and Chinese is tough.
Well, yeah, because like when all your research is done in Chinese, some words you're kind of like, what is that actually called in English? I haven't actually said it in English,
Yeah.
But yeah, the occupation of the executive, not the yuan anyway, the
Legislative yuan, yes.
executive yuan?
Legislative yuan.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, the occupation. So, we did a lot of commentary on these issues and got, quite a lot of people, really getting into and digging our message. And we, of course, really support like freedom and human rights. And that's a lot of, in the early days, what we reported on the China stuff as well. A lot of the human rights abuses that have gone on in mainland China at the hands of the Communist Party. Things like Falun Gong and Tibet and a lot of these things we also delved into, doing reporting and going out and interviewing people and kind of like exposing the darker side of China too. That's in a way more what our show was supposed to be, actually. It was supposed to be sort of a thing looking at China, China's politics and human rights and stuff. But because we got so popular in Taiwan, we started going more into the sphere of Taiwanese sort of pop culture and that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay, well, I tell you what, Ben, we got to take ourselves just a very short break here as we've got to pause. When we come back, we'll kind of talk more about the message that you guys are kind of getting across with your program. We'll talk about some of the similarities between what we do here at ICRT and what you guys are doing and some of the programs that we have here. And we'll kind of compare notes on some of the responses that you guys have got versus some of the responses we've got. And we look forward to talking about that. So if you just hang tight for a second here, we take ourselves a break. It is The Morning Show with Terry right here on ICRT.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning indeed. It's time to get back to The Morning Show with Terry.
I can't wait to wake up.
Right here on ICRT.
All right, we return to the program here, 10:22 in the morning. We've got Ben Hedges here. He is the Laowai of the Laowai Kan Zhongguo, or Laowai Kan Taiwan. He's joining us here this morning. He's taken the time to join us. And Ben, let's move into this here, especially part of the morning show and ICRT at large. We have, I guess, a very difficult position, meaning that it's our duty, our mandate to basically share with the world, if you will, everything, about Taiwan. And then as a reciprocal of that, we've got to share everything from the world with the people here in Taiwan. So there's a lot to cover. Using that mandate. English language covers basically the entirety of the planet at some level, be it second language, be it first language, be it by population. So it's a big task. And the program we do, one of them, which is Wow Taiwan, is a show or a program that I host, where I'm kind of going around Taiwan and introducing to the international community all that Taiwan has to offer. I also mentioned by reciprocal, I've also, this program and ICRT at large has the responsibility of kind of broadcasting what goes on internationally to the folks here in Taiwan. Is that similar to what you guys are doing? Do you have a similar mandate to that, or do you kind of focus a little more on specific issues?
Well, yeah, I mean, we are more focused on affairs in Asia, in China, and Taiwan. But a lot of these things are linked to international politics anyway. So we do sometimes touch on U.S. issues as well. Actually, I once did a clip for my show about the Coney Island hot dog eating competition in New York.
Oh, right. Okay.
I guess this would be. You know this competition?
Oh, I'm very familiar with it. Yeah.
So I guess this would be like introducing so-called traditional American culture to Taiwanese.
Proud American tradition, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I used to go to this competition every year, actually. It's quite fun. Obviously, I don't compete. I don't think I'd be very good at that. But yeah.
Just an observer, yeah. Now, what's kind of interesting to me about your show, and you're not the only YouTube show that's on this vein. I mean, there's a couple of other YouTube channels that are expats talking about Taiwan in Chinese. There's Doa Bujiao Meiyu, and then there's Insect Island. There's a couple of them out there. And what's really interesting to me is all of you guys are very popular. You're probably the most popular one, but all of them are very popular. But basically what it is talking about Taiwan, telling Taiwanese people about Taiwan. And sometimes I just wonder, you know, like if a similar show came out in the U.S., like if a French guy looks at America or a French guy's view on America, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be all that popular in America.
Or even Taiwanese guy looked at America to look at the exact opposite. Yeah,
exactly.
I think the exact opposite wouldn't be that popular. I think, like, there's the exception, like Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, which is really, really popular at the moment. And he's a British guy looking at America, but I think it's just because Americans have kind of a thing for British accents and British people in general that I think that show is popular.
Sounds smart.
But maybe it kind of mirrors that with Taiwan. I mean, Taiwan, they do really like foreigners, and I feel like it's a little bit of a psychology because Taiwan is kind of isolated politically on the international stage. I think a lot of Taiwanese people really like the idea of their country making international friends, you know? So I think they have this kind of mentality of wanting to reach out and like share with, you know, people from the international community their country, you know, and they are really proud of their country as well. So they really like it, you know, when people like say that their country is good and people like certain things. And I love Taiwan. I love so many things about Taiwan that are really cool. And I've noticed, you know, that when you say that to someone from Taiwan, they're really, really happy about it, you know? So I think this is part of why our show is successful. And also, Jesus, I worked with him in the early days, actually. We did a video called Taiwan 独有特色, the like unique characteristics of Taiwan. And that was a really successful video. And we pointed out all of the funny things you notice. Like when you first move to Taiwan, you might, as a foreigner, you might hear like something that sounds like an ice cream van coming down the street.
Of course, yeah.
A garbage truck.
Of course.
I'm sure you guys have encountered
exactly.
That. There's a lot of funny little things like that that you notice when you first come to Taiwan as a foreigner that are really worth, you know, talking about and making some jokes about.
Right.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to a sort of related question, because it's true. You do have a lot of videos like that where you're really specifically talking about what is special about Taiwan through the eyes of an expat, through the eyes of somebody who didn't grow up here. But then a lot of your videos at the same time are really just, you know, like you said, just talking about news. And it almost feels like it, you know, this could be from a Taiwanese person. You know, some of the insights that you have are very astute. It's just like a straight news program. So I wonder, I mean, what do you think that you're bringing to bear on that, that people are picking up on? Is there some kind of perspective or some kind of mentality that you think you bring to these news stories about Taiwan that people are really engaging with?
Well, I think, you know, once you develop a following and people start to like you as a host and like your sort of personality and stuff, the fans of the show, like the hardcore fans of the show, will watch every episode. And we do, like, it's a team that does this show, so it's not just me writing the scripts. We have, like, researchers who, well, it's mainly a team of three. Me, a producer, and one other girl who helps us. And so when we do these more insightful political things, oftentimes we do a lot of research. It's actually very well researched. And just like John Oliver's show, you know, I know that he has like a lot of researchers also working on it, getting really insightful things that he can then sort of turn into a comedy script and you know, bring out something good. So I think people like respect the show for the fact that it is like really, really well researched. You know, in addition to the sort of pranks and jokes kind of style, when we do go into something serious, we're always sure to make sure it's really, really well researched and insightful.
So in some ways, it's not the most important thing about some of these shows is not the fact that you're a Laowai. I mean, in some ways, it's just a sensibility and a sense of humor that folks might not see anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think because it's a Westerner speaking Chinese, and so I think that's why like a lot of media had reported on the show, because it's something like unique that you don't often see that much, you know, but then when we do a regular, you know, we do a more serious show, it kind of becomes just like a regular show, you know, that someone in Taiwan could do. a Taiwanese person could do, I guess.
Yeah, right. Well, that was kind of where I was going to go with the next question was, at what point do you kind of feel like you're just a foreigner speaking Chinese reporting these stories versus sort of actually reporting on these stories? We talked about the sort of difference, or the fact that Taiwanese people get enamored with the fact there's a British person who's doing a show on Taiwan. How much of it do you feel is because they kind of take you seriously as a program now versus just a novelty act?
Well, I think it'll always have an element of novelty act to it, because like my Chinese is not perfect. I mean, I dare to say that I'm pretty advanced now, or even could say fluent, but it's not. When I talk to people can still tell it's my second language. I'm not like a Westerner who's like totally grown up in Taiwan. But I think because of being a foreigner, we have got opportunities to interview certain celebrities that you might not get an opportunity to interview if you had been a similar internet show done by a Taiwanese person.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. We have the exact same situation here at ICRT because it's an English show. Carlos Santana has been on my program 3 times, and that's the reason why. He may not have been on other programs, and I guess I was that's exactly what I was alluding to. You kind of feel you got special treatment that way.
Yeah, I mean, we've interviewed some pretty A-list, not quite the top tier, but Wang Lihong hasn't been on the show yet. But we've interviewed some of the cast and director of Pizi Yingxiong. That was a big movie, like a year or 2 ago. And Xi, who's another internet, I guess, model and internet celebrity and singer, has been on our show. We have had some pretty big names. That's just a few of them. Yeah. Yeah,
excellent. Is there anything going on in New York? And this is completely a switch of subjects here. But is there a Taiwanese community in New York where something in the reverse might be happening? Is that a possibility in the States where there might be a Taiwanese guy speaking English reporting to people there? Would that ever be a possibility? Is the community strong enough in New York? I know that for a fact we've had a fella on the program who is Vietnamese living in New York, and there's a very big Asian musician support sort of network in New York specifically and throughout the United States. In Vancouver, I know there's like a very big Taiwan night market that's kind of set up that goes on Sunday nights. Is there anything like that in New York where you are?
I mean, it's funny you mentioned Vancouver because I went to Vancouver last year, and there's a city, Richmond, I think it is, outside of Vancouver, and everyone there's Asian. It's like a Western city. It looks Western, but everyone on the street is Asian. It's a really surreal place, and pretty cool. They had some great food there. In New York, there's a Taiwan center in Chinatown, and they do hold a lot of these, like the Taiwan Tourist Bureau. They organize a lot of events. Like every year they have like a Taiwan, like a fashion show at Grand Central. And there's sometimes they do a night market, and there's an event in Union Square that's for Taiwan every year. There are quite a few events, but I don't think there's anything really in mainstream like someone doing a show. But what we did get really excited was Linsanity when Jeremy Lin was playing for the Knicks.
Right.
I went to see him play. That was when I just after I'd moved to America, actually, from the UK, 2011-2012 season. And that's when Linsanity started. That was a pretty cool time, actually, and everyone was getting really excited about Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, everybody was very excited here as well, of course, for obvious reasons. We always seem to here in Taiwan. We seem to really, really latch on to those folks that represent Taiwan internationally, even if, like in Jeremy Lin's case, he didn't grow up here because he has Taiwanese descent. We really seem to support the Taiwanese that kind of make a name for themselves outside of the country. I think of Wang Jianming or Guo Huangzi, two just outstanding baseball players, athletes, and beyond that. So it's interesting to have actually been in New York when that was going on. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, it was cool. I saw him play once, and then he got injured for a few weeks, and then after that the season was over, and he moved to
they traded him,
Houston, I think. So.
Yeah, right.
We were like, oh no, I kind of want to see him again. But yeah, certainly also when Li An, Ang Lee, won the Oscar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something people were really excited about. And that year at some of those Taiwan events, they had a picture board of all the famous stars that you might not know come from Taiwan. Because I think some people in America just see sort of Asian face and they might think that they're Chinese. And so Taiwan Tourist Bureau, and they really want to emphasize that these people are Taiwanese, which is cool. I think they should. I really hope Taiwan can project more of an image on the world stage. It deserves it.
Once again, this kind of what you're saying right there does lead me into the next thing I wanted to get into, which is you have another program which is called Learn Chinese Now, and it's more geared towards kind of letting in Westerners on interesting facts about Asia and Chinese. And I mean, it's more, I've watched a couple episodes, it's more than just a language program. There's actual a lot of appreciation for the culture and the current events over here that you really are putting a lot of effort into getting across to a Western audience. So could you talk a little bit about there, once again, what your focus is in terms of what you're trying to get across, and then also why that's important to you, why that's something you feel like you want to put effort into kind of fostering.
Sure. Yeah, well, we started doing that show I think it was the beginning of 2012. Really, it was just me. I recruit a couple of co-hosts for it sometimes, but it's basically I'm just sort of doing that show on my own. And it's funny, if I go down to Shida, and the foreign, the Western or foreign students that see me, they're not like, oh, you're the guy from Laowai, Taiwan. They're like, oh, you're the guy from Learn Chinese Now. Because we very quickly, because we've done so much Learn Chinese content on that channel, we've kind of got to the top of the search on YouTube for learning Chinese content. So if you type in Learn Chinese to YouTube, we're one of the first things that comes up, So, yeah, I guess I started that show because I wanted to just share my appreciation of Chinese with people, share a little bit about the culture, like you said. And I remember when I was studying, I wanted, my first year of Chinese in university, I would have wanted something high quality that I could use to sort of not 100% learn from, because you still really have to learn from a textbook and with a proper teacher. But the show is aimed at sort of drumming into you, helping you remember how to say stuff that you're maybe already learning in Chinese class, but presenting it in a sort of more fun way to try and get people to remember. We did one recently where we were teaching how to say I'm hungry. In Chinese is 我饿了, and so I just said, oh, it's this sound, it sounds like someone's punched you in the stomach, and I got one of my colleagues to just punch me in the stomach several times on camera, and it's and I think by doing these kind of funny videos, you can really help people remember the language in an interesting way.
It's a real dedication.
Excellent. All right, Ben, we're going to take another short break. We'll return in just a couple of moments here. It's the Morning Show with Terry on ICRT FM 100.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, everybody. Let's return to the Morning Show with Terry on ICRT.
Wake up and smell the coffee.
It is 10:41 in the morning. We return here. We're amidst our midweek extended interview in which we have Ben Hedges. He's joined us here today. He is the host of Laowai, Taiwan. Probably the most recognized thing as far as our listening audience is concerned here.
The best, the king of the Laowai, the most recognized Laowai in the world.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions here. We're going to kind of give a little bit of relief. We're going to put Ben on the spot a little bit, and we're going to put Keith on the spot a little bit.
Well, and here's the reason. We started the show with Ben going around to New Yorkers asking, what do you know about Taiwan? Now, the question is, what do I know about Taiwan, and what does Ben know about Taiwan?
That's right. Now, Ben, how long have you spent in Taiwan here? In total,
Well,
sort of time-wise.
total, I lived there for a year.
Okay.
And when I was studying, and in the last few years, I guess I go there about 3 times a year. And normally I go for maybe 2 to 3 weeks at a time.
Okay. All right. And Keith, what do you got under your belt?
I've been here for coming up on 3.5 years.
Okay, so 3. So you guys combined, I've outlived you here 3 times over. You guys combined. So I've got. I figure that gives me the how do we say the credential to be the quiz master here.
All right, we'll give it to you. Well, and also with your show. So.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So I'm just a few questions to see how well you guys are kind of in tune with things here. I'm going to begin with this one.
Okay.
How much per capita, per week is the average is per capita, so this is by person, are people consuming stinky tofu?
Okay. I'm going to let...
And tofu at large, though this is fermented tofu, so I guess that kind of means the stinky tofu.
All tofu fermented.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I got this from the journal called History of Fermented Tofu. By the way, I'm not even joking, which is where I've got this.
You've got to be kidding. There's an actual journal.
No, I've got it right here. I've got it right in front of me.
The Journal of Fermented Tofu.
That's right. And
there's more than one article in this journal?
Oh, yeah, there's lots of them. There's lots of them. And
That's amazing.
This one is specifically about the history. As soon as I pull it up, there it is. So per capita, let me just make sure that it was per week here, that it has equivalent to the... this is annual consumption per capita.
Annual consumption per capita.
That's stinky tofu.
I'm going to let Ben take the first stab at this, graciously, I might add.
What should I be giving the answer in?
Oh, sorry, give me the answer in liters. In
liters? What kind of nonsense is that?
So,
in liters.
Yeah, in liters.
All right. Wow. Okay. Let's say 2 liters is like one of those large Coke bottles. So, let's say maybe 10 of those a year. So that's maybe 20 liters.
Okay. All right, Keith.
20 liters. We're doing this by the year. Okay, that sounds conservative to me. I feel like people here like their stinky tofu a little bit more than that. I'm going to go with 30.
Okay. The answer that I have here is 9 liters per capita. Now that's per capita, which means not everybody here in Taiwan may eat. That's just talking about the total consumption and then divided.
Somebody's dragging down the average.
Divided by the population. But the answer is 9 liters per capita of stinky tofu.
Ben, when you were here in Taiwan, were you one of the folks that was dragging up that average or dragging down that average?
Definitely dragging down that average. I've only eaten it a couple of times, and I'm not really that into it. I can see it's kind of like our blue cheese.
Oh, my. I now, having been here for a long time, Ben spent a lot of time here, 17 years myself. Keith's been here for 3. I don't think there are too many days that go by that I'm not asked by somebody here in Taiwan whether or not I've eaten/liked stinky tofu. I would imagine that this is a very similar experience for yourself.
Oh yeah, I've definitely encountered people asking me about that. Yeah.
But that's kind of the nice thing about your show, though, is stinky tofu is like the generic thing to ask a foreigner or the generic thing to know about Taiwan. You get into more depth. You get maybe another title for your show could be Taiwan Beyond Stinky Tofu.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be a great little angle to take. I hear you. All right, let's move into the next question here, guys. How many total Olympic medals has Chinese Taipei won? That's, of course, the Republic of China, Taiwan. How many total in the history of their involvement in the Olympic Games?
Yes.
How many total Olympic medals? Keith, I'll let you go first on this.
Man, this is a dangerous one because if I lowball it, then I'm besmirching the national honor. Oh, my gosh. And we're talking ROC here, or are we talking since the...
We're talking, all their involvement at all. in the Olympics. So that could...
Because I think they would have been involved in the 1930s Olympics and whatnot as well.
I would say I wouldn't want to go back all the way that far, but I will tell you, here it is. The first one that they have listed is 1956. Now, that's just winning. Now, they may not have won before that. They probably weren't recognized as the Republic of China before that. I mean, in terms of the Olympic Games.
Got it. All right.
In terms of Chinese Taipei. Okay. This is from 1956. I don't know. Just put that out there.
National honor on the line. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with 50.
Okay.
50 is my guess.
And Ben?
Oh man, I'm trying to think what sports. I know they've done well in taekwondo in the Olympics, especially in 2008, and in 2012, I think as well. But wow, let's say I think it's lower than 50. I think it's more like 30, although I'm not sure.
All right, well, you both highballed it. It was 21. 21 total medals, and just as a note, up until then, certainly from 1932 on, Taiwan did compete as China under that. So Chinese Taipei doesn't say the actual date that they started competing as Chinese Taipei at the Olympic dates here, but we do know, of course, they compete under the Olympic flag, Chinese Taipei Olympic flag. But that's neither here nor there for the purpose of our trivia. 21 is the total. Any guesses as to what the sports were that they've won in?
Well, Ben already said taekwondo.
Well, I know that they've won in taekwondo. And I think they've done well in weightlifting as well.
I would say that not bad, Ben, because the majority of all the medals were either taekwondo or weightlifting. A couple, not to take anything away from the archers that have won medals.
Okay,
of course, the baseball team that has won a medal. And whatever the sport was back in 1960 called athletics. What was that sport? I don't know.
If you win it, then you win the whole Olympics, I imagine.
You would think. But no, taekwondo, 8 medals, followed by weightlifting, archery, and then table tennis and baseball.
Table tennis makes sense.
So not
should have gotten that one.
Not too bad. All right, let's move to the next question here, which is total.
I think Ben's winning so far, by the way.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad here. He's not doing too bad. By square kilometer. All right, by square kilometer, the actual size of Taiwan to the closest square kilometer.
We can give this to Ben first this time.
All right, Ben, this is to you.
Oh man, I'm like totally going to be guessing off the top of my head. I don't even work in kilometers; I work in miles.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. In fairness, then I'll let you answer in square miles. How's that? Actually, Keith would work in miles too. He's American, so you can do this in miles.
All right. Oh, I have no concept of this. So let me just I'm guessing it's around it's like about 500 miles long, right? From top to...
I cannot answer that for you, Ben. You're going to have to work that out.
Maybe 400 miles long. So maybe 400 divided by, maybe it's like about 100 miles wide. So that would be, let's say 4 times 100, which, so 400 times 100, which would be like 400,000.
Okay, you're a great host, Ben. Not a great mathematician, though. I'm going to tell you. I'll let you work it out. I'll let you work that out for a second. Keith, give me your guess while Ben's getting his together here.
I'm going to do that multiplication correctly and then cut it in half. So I'm going to go with 20,000.
You're going to go with 20,000 miles.
Square miles.
Square miles. All right. Go ahead, Ben. What's your final answer here?
Yeah, I'm going to say 40,000 then.
You're going to go with 40,000 square miles. Okay. Actual answer, 13,892 square miles.
We're highballing everything.
You're highballing everything.
And how much stinky tofu is there per mile? And how many gold medals per stinky tofu?
Yeah, I'm sure if we had a mathematician, we could do all of that perfectly. Good stuff. All right, let's just move to the last one here as we are out of time. Okay, first of all, the first half of the trivia question should be very easy for both of you. I'll give this one to the first person that chimes in. The highest mountain in Taiwan is?
Yushan.
Okay. All right, Ben, a little quicker than Keith on the draw there. So to the nearest meter, how far above sea level is it? Or in other words, what is the height of Jade Mountain? I'll let Ben go first.
Well, I know this to the nearest 100.
Okay.
It's 3,900 meters, or a little bit above 3,900.
Okay, I'm going to have to give you an actual, force you to give us an actual number here, because Keith could be closer.
Well, I'll just make one up. Let's say 3,945.
Okay, Keith.
See, this isn't fair.
Closest
because
without going over.
This isn't fair. Ben is using actual knowledge. Okay, I'm pretty sure the rules say that's not all right.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I'm going to stop you right there because Ben, that's not too bad. It's 3,952. So you were off by 7 meters. I'm just going to go ahead and give you the victory on that one, Ben. That's what I'm
straight down the line. He got all of them, man.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Well,
I guess Ben gets my job now, and I get to leave. I have to leave Taiwan. I think that's what we just found out.
Is that what we had riding on this? All right. Well, listen. I tell you what. We've got to stop it right there, Ben. We'd love to talk to you more. Hopefully, you'll come back and join the program in this area, in this time slot again in the future. It was great talking to you.
Well, I'll let you guys know when I'm next in Taiwan, and maybe I can come to the studio and do it for real in person.
Well, we'd love that, Ben. That would be great if you were able to do that. That'd be excellent. And thank you so much for taking the time. I guess it's tonight for you to join the program. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Cool. Thanks very much, guys.
All right, and good luck with the program. That is Laowai Kan Taiwan.
And Laowai Kan Zhonghua. And also Learn Chinese Now.
And you can find those all on YouTube.
Exactly.
Excellent. All right, we jump now to Foster the People. It's going to take us up to 11 a.m. where we'll find the news. And then when we're done all of that business here, we'll get your requests on the other side of 11. I'll let you know what the theme and how that's all going to work.
Bye, Terry. Sorry to cut you off, but the interview's over. You're not going to be hearing those songs anyway. So we'll just cut it there. That was, of course, another Taiwan Talk morning show mashup. Taiwan Talk is, of course, ICRT's weekly interview segment, bringing you conversations from and about Taiwan. And the morning show is, of course, ICRT's morning show, bringing you music in the morning. To catch the weekly broadcast of Taiwan Talk, you can tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's coming at you right after the top of the hour news broadcasts. Or you can catch extended versions of the interview online. Look for that on the Taiwan Talk podcast stream on iTunes, on the ICRT website, or you can also find links to that on the ICRT blog. Like I said, that's it for the show today, so we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for listening. For Taiwan Talk and the Morning Show with Terry Engel, I'm Keith Manconi. See you next time.